Hi, my name is Barrett, and I am here to talk about my educational learnings from Ohio to California. I was born in Ohio, February 19, 1955. Grew up in Ohio, Toledo. I was there until I was in 10th grade. At that time, I relocated with my mother to Los Angeles. I enrolled in Washington High School, and then during that time, around about the 11th grade, I transferred to, I transferred to Manual Arts High School and went there for 1 year. And during that time, I met Barry and Vicky. And through them, they found out that I liked to sing and dance. And they were trying to get a group together. So they took me to meet their relatives who were also into singing, and we formed a group called Vicky G and the Rowdy Bunch. At the time, I was 11th grader in high school. We did that until I was about 16. This started at 15. I graduated from Washington High School. Before I graduated, during that time, I met Daryl Smith. Daryl Smith's family is a family that brought me into the music world in California. They adopted me, and even after Daryl and I no longer were item, they still kept me in the family as I had my 2 children. They also adopted them also. Well, during the time that I was out here, I thought I would stay here and make my life, but things didn't go as I planned. So when I got pregnant at the end of 72, after I graduated, after giving birth to my son, my VerCTile walker, I took him home at 6 months to Toledo, Ohio, to be able to raise my child around my family. And I stayed there for the next maybe 4 or 5 years. As I was there, by the time Damon made 8 years old, I had a daughter, Tanisha Warren, and we lived in Toledo till she was about a year and a half, which would have been in 1983. I left California in 73. I returned in 83. When I returned, after I found suitable housing for myself and my children, my son would always continue to sing. He did talent shows in Ohio. He would win, and they would tell him, you can't win all the time, let somebody else do it. And he would. But once we got here, he had grown up to where he knew music was a part of his life. And in living here, we were on 42nd and San Pedro. And I met a guy by the name of Cornell. Now, when I met Cornell, it was an Easter Sunday, and me and my children went to church, and we were coming home. And we met, we exchanged numbers. We started seeing each other, and he realized my son had talent. And he started telling my son about his nephew. Well, before they actually met, he was telling us about the talent show We lived in Columbus with my mother and my sister and myself, my sister Renee, which is right under me. We shared a bedroom and we had them on in our room. It was great. So one day we were up in the summer when it was up listening to music, and she played Earth, Wind, and Fire, Keep Your Head to the Sky. And we were just minding our business, and all of a sudden, the mom was standing up in his baby bed, and he was saying, he, ho, he, who, hi. But he had a tune. And we looked and he said it again, and my sister said, he's gonna sing, of course. I'm paranoid till she told him. God rest her soul, she passed away in 2008. But she told him that day, always remember that she was his first manager. And back to California, I really liked it here when I came. And after I had my son and had to leave, I always wanted to come back. I moved around quite a bit. We lived in Pittsburgh, we lived in Cleveland, Columbus, just trying out different places. But none of them had a hold on me like California. I always wanted him to be here so he could have a chance to explore his dreams and see his real true talent, which was music. While we were on San Pedro, Cornell introduced him to his nephew, Leon. Leon was so cute. He had his little Jerry curl and his Michael Jackson, and he was good at what he did. He always was going to be in some kind of entertainment. And the two of these two, because we were dating, they got to kind of know each other first. And then as the rest of the group got to meet each other, they all liked them. They all liked them from the talent show, and they all seen something in each other that they wanted to explore. And Leon had a guy by the name of Matthew Pearson Jr., who he was a journalist and photo for Black Beat magazine. And he came and he saw the guys, and it was just history after that. Though Matthew had no children of his own, and when he got the fellas, those were his sons. He kept them under his wing. He protected them, and as a parent, having them out with him, you never was worried. You knew Matthew took care of your child. They would always rehearse at my house for some reason. They loved my house. I think it was the Kool-Aid. They said I made the best Kool-Aid in the world. So every rehearsal, I had to make sure I had the Kool-Aid ready, and I did. And for a while, Damon and the fellas, they were just hot all over LA. And I just enjoy watching their energy, watching them grow together, watching them learn from each other, but most of all, learning how to deal with other personalities when you're trying to reach the same goal. And that's what they were trying to do. And they worked and they did all that they could do. And as they got older and things changed, they kind of had to go their different ways. Damon became my father, and Omar moved out of state. So every going in their way in the world, but they always kept in touch and always knew what the other one was doing. And after that, they realized that the group had went as far as it was gonna go. The mom really started writing music, and I didn't think that he would ever really want to go solo because he had been with the group. But when he did it well. I realized how much creativity he really had that I was not aware of. And I really think I found out when he became a father, because when he became a father, those babies started singing in their walkers. I was like, what? And they were just, it was like they just woke up singing. And I was looking, and as they got bigger and learned how to harmonize, they just sounded like, what in the world do I have here? And I was really just sitting back being a proud mother and a proud grandmother. And along the way, you know, we've had our ups and our downs. But one thing about anything that you do, if you don't have a passion for it, you're not gonna give your all to it. So I give props to VerCTile for having the passion that he's had for this music since 8 months old. And I really enjoy watching him be able to let it grow. He doesn't push it, he takes it as it comes. And I'm glad that no matter what he's been through or how far he went or didn't go, he has never given